Can you hear us, everyone? I was going to say, set up on here, it's like little and large, but it's large and larger, isn't it? Not little and large. So, an incredible show coming up on the 28th. There's no two ways about it. And I'm so glad to see so many people now turning up regularly at these press conferences to promote the bouts, because that's what it's all about, is the boxers. So before we go any further, I think Rich, obviously our promoter for Tank Promotions, would like to do a few thank yous.
Of course, well, firstly, thank you to everyone that's turned up. We've got some boxers travelled an awful long way. I think Pedro Puska's travelled from Peterborough. We've got people travelled from quite some distance. So thank you for that, and thanks to everyone coming to support the boxers. Next up, obviously, our host, the Power Lounge. Thanks to Dave and his team for allowing us here. And then it moves me on to my sponsors. So MZK Autos, MOD Autos, both on Turnpike. Then we have the Arena Health and Fitness Gym. Signed Bits. I have seen Chaz Dowie here. What a man. He's been with me since I started out nearly 10 years ago. He does all our memorabilia. He supplies his lovely belts. The boxers get their medals and trophies. He's been nothing but solid with me. Then we've got the man, Antonio's here. So we've got the Lazy Frog, just in the town centre here, Casa di Carne, Mexican restaurant in Gorse Hill. So go and see Antonio and he'll tell you exactly where that is, and it's a nice place to eat. Then moving on, we have Richards and Sons Roofing, and we have Pinewood Roofing as well. They're Pinewood Roofing are going to be sponsoring, just walked in the door there, Abby Morrissey and Rachel Johnson. So, and obviously the man here on my left, Malcolm Martin, it's an honour to have him here, so thanks for coming.
Right, well done, Rich. Well, first, what I'd like to say, guys, is I've been talking with some of the guys in the crowd, and a lot of us are very knowledgeable. And one thing I can say now is, we look at the professional scene as the be-all and end-all, and I don't think it is anymore. And we've got two promoters here, Steve and Rich, that are putting on shows as good as anything across the country at a level to showcase boxers that's as exciting as anything we see in the country at what they call white-collar level. I wish they'd find another term for it, because the boxing at this level now, we have levels in everything, and at the highest level, it's as good as anything you can see. And that brings me to our main event. This is a main event that's got everyone talking. We've got two men that have just put up and shut up. They've gone, yeah, I'll take it. They didn't need convincing. They didn't need to say where, when, what, how much. They said, yeah, I want this, for the very reason the two of them just wanted it. But when you've got two big names in one town with two big promotions, the ease with which this bout has been made, I'm thankful for the cooperation, but the egos, no egos, two men that just want the best for boxing. So if I can ask the other man up on stage, and please give him a huge response, because this bout is because of him as well. Mr. Steve Murtaugh, please. Steve, so if I come to you first, because I've got Rich here, an incredible main event. Everybody is genuinely excited. And as I said, when you look, everybody knows your promotion, Rich's promotion, and yet here you are working together to get two of the biggest names on the circuit actually in the ring together. How did this come about, Steve?
Listen, me and Rich have been close for years and years now, doing the white collar. I've only been doing it a year longer than Rich, I think. He was fighting on my shows and then started doing his own shows and progressed massively, and it probably now is the busiest promoter in the UK. And so we just work together because he knows so many opponents out of town, whereas I'm more based of local fighters. Do you know what I mean? Most of my shows are just local fighters, but Rich has reached out and got people from all over, just like he said, coming down. So we always work together. We always said it was a matter of time. Like Craig's been with me since day dot, and always fought on Fight Club shows. And Callum's he's fought on a few different shows, but he's always fought with Rich. But I've never been that sort of person where, like, listen, you have to fight on my show and been pathetic like that. Like, back in the day, that was like more of a Kenny Owen thing, like the Team KO. Like when he fought Sugar Sean Grant, for an example. Again, I didn't have no issues. Craig's his own man. He fights where he want to fight. I don't ever tell him where he can, where he can't fight, because he's his own person. But when he fought Sean, which again was a massive fight, we asked for the rematch straight away. We wanted the rematch straight away, and at the time, Kenny Owens said, no, he didn't want the fight on my show. But yeah, as for me and Rich, listen, we help each other out if and when we can, and there's never no bad blood between me and Rich whatsoever. So yeah.
And Rich, building on that, so for everyone here, the seeds of getting this bout on then, how did it come about? Because I said it is now a bout that everyone is talking about.
I think, like you mentioned, it was easy to make, and Craig's actually never boxed on my show after all these years, and if anything, in his defence, I've probably deterred him from. I've done many prize fighter tournaments, and in his weight category, if he would have come in, the lads in it would have pulled out and got injured just because he's in. So now he's got an opportunity. There's one man that actually does want to fight him, so that's why we're here, because there's a lot of people that don't want to fight this man, and so look, we're here now, and I'm great to have it on. I think that you hear this a lot, but the winners are, if you've got a ticket to watch, you're in for a treat, and because they're quality boxers, they're both good men, and they're not your normal white-collar boxers. At this level, they're top of the tree, and that's it.
Right, with that in mind, before we start the press conference proper, and I've got you both up here, just for the sake of it, Steve will say on behalf of Craig, because you know him well, sum up your thoughts on this fight, how you think it might go, what you're looking for. I don't want to give away trade secrets, but you know what I mean? Your views on this bout from Craig's perspective.
I'm just totally honest, like I said. Callum's last couple of fights, he boxed great on his last fight. But like we've said, Mateo's someone that you can box, you can beat up. He's a tough guy. He's not easy to get rid of. Craig's the only person that has got rid of Mateo, and he's gone on to fight some real good high-level names. Joe Howard, for an example, Sean Grant, Callum. Obviously, Callum went in there with a game plan and he wanted to box, which is what he did, and he looked good doing it. All I said, from my point of view, is if you try and box like that against Craig's a complete different opponent. So you can't take that approach to Craig, because if you do, you're going to be in trouble. And a lot of people look at Craig and think that he's just like a one-trick pony, where he will come and he would just knock you out and take you out. That ain't Craig. If anything, I'd openly say that I think if anyone tries boxing Craig, then that's more of a disadvantage, because when you try boxing, you open yourself up, and you're then can get caught with shots yourself, because you're trying to commit to your own shots. Whereas then that's when Craig's at his most dangerous and his most deadly. When he just puts it on people and he bulldozes them, it normally comes to that people just want to quit them because they feel the power on their arms, or so on and so on. And like I said, no disrespect to Callum, he's fought and he's beaten pretty much everyone who's been put in front of him. So the good thing is Callum isn't scared of him. Callum ain't going to shy away, which is why, like you've said, that this is going to be a great main event, because we haven't had that really, apart from when Craig fought Kent. When Craig fought Kent, there was two people again that both wanted to fight. But since then, people got in the ring with him and said they wanted to fight him, but deep down they haven't. Like you said earlier, let's look at, I won't take your words from you, but let's take Ben Heap for an example. Fought everyone on the circuit. He's good. He had 8 pro fights. He got rid of him in 17 seconds. Do you know what I mean? So it's just one of them. But I'm looking forward to it, and I got respect for both guys, and I think it's going to be a hell of a fight.
Lovely, thanks, Steve. And Rich, we must stress, you're not Callum's promoter, you're not his trainer, but just give us a bit the other perspective, the other side of that coin. As you said, the one thing everybody seems to think is they seem to think they know Craig, they know what he is, they know what he does. Fill in a bit about Callum and his side of what he's bringing to this bout that you made.
Obviously, look, Craig doesn't need no introduction, and a lot of people local to Swindon or connected with Craig or Fight Club probably don't know much about Callum, but obviously I remember him 2016. He actually boxed way before that as an amateur. And just before I start, actually, I need to make it clear that this isn't like, Rich Loveday Tank promotes Callum versus Stephen Craig. It ain't about that. He's just fought on my show. Like everyone here, there's people that box on various shows. We've got 3 independent judges, But obviously, going back to your point, sorry, because I needed to get that in, that Callum's been very successful. He then boxed at heavyweight. He became my heavyweight champion. Many years ago, I had an 8-man heavyweight tournament. He then went and beat 3 men in one night, which is quite a good feat to do that, no matter what level you're at. Then he took quite a bit of time out of the sport, put a lot of weight on, he went my mask in, and he's done an incredible thing. I think you're well over 110 kilos, is that right? 115 kilos, he's now like down to 82, which is quite incredible. But look, he knows what he's in for. Is this too soon? Maybe, but listen, he just wants to fight the best. And very rare with this type of boxing. This is why I get very frustrated with people when I talk about when you go up the levels. The good people don't want to fight other good people. It's too hard for them. It's too challenging. They like to stay in their comfort zone, and he doesn't want that. I mean, I put those people in front of him. He didn't choose. He's never chosen anyone. All he wants is to fight the best, and that's why we're here. And he's the best. So there we go.
Lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, so all I want to say to add to that is we've got Craig, we've got Callum here, and a bit later on, after we've been through some of the preliminary bouts and some of the other bouts, we will have our main eventers on the stage face-to-face. But once again, before he leaves the stage, you've heard from both men. I think it's incredible to have two promoters of this level and ability working together like that. Because when Rich said, I don't want you to think it's mine, anyone would want this bout on their show. And Steve made sure that it happened on Rich's. So please, can we give respect to both these men that are pushing forward our sport in the West Country?
I thought it was you and me in the room, wasn't it?